Uh,
Um,
yeah, so do you guys want to get
yeah,
started
James, do you have
or?
any more team members that you wanted to bring up?
No, I'm good. I mean, I'm good up here, my man.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm just sorting some of the questions. We have a big list of questions from Sally Jack, who
Oh, really?
is very good at
Cool.
questions. Yeah, he always
All
asks
right.
me
He's
what
very
questions.
good. He has the best questions.
Okay. You want me to start with like a little summary?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
want.
that'd
I
be
guess.
great.
Hang on, let me.
Yeah.
Just give me
We
1
we can
second.
whatever you think. If you get some notes, some order you want to follow.
With the WiseWhales AMA, and we're gonna be. I think we're giving out some whitelist spots here, and then some later, and then we're gonna give mysterious fruit pack as well for the listeners.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can get started on just I guess like general questions would be really good first. Like, what is WiseWhales and why is it gonna be useful for the ecosystem?
That's a good place to start.
Yeah.
So what WiseWhales is, so what we do is we look at on-chain data, and we find the whales by looking at NFT marketplace volume and DeFi marketplace volume, like decentralized exchange volume. And for literally every single whale on the blockchain, we do a complete analysis of their transactional history, and we measure their profitability over time. And the most profitable whales, we call the WiseWhales, and we display their tokens, NFTs, and DeFi positions protocol by protocol. And we also show the moves that they made in the last 24 hours in 1 week. So, for example, like LP positions that they're in, what swaps they've made, perpetual positions, spot orders, what NFT collections they've bought and sold, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the very quick summary. We aggregate the data. We aggregate the data over all the wallets. So basically, like if you go into the like the swap section, you're seeing, and you look at like Sol USDC, you're seeing maybe in Orca or whatever. You're seeing all of the swaps that the WiseWhales have made, like summed over all the WiseWhales basically.
Right.
And we do this for a couple of reasons. So we don't want to like publicly dox all the WiseWhale wallets, and it's also just like easier to digest the information when it's displayed like that instead of looking wallet by wallet. It's really hard to get a feel for what like they're doing as a whole. So we kind of sum it over all of the WiseWhales like that. So yeah, and the reason why it's cool and you might be interested is, I mean, these are literally like the most profitable, on the Solana blockchain, in terms of how they've done over the last 6 months. And so you can see what they've done to and copy trade, or just take a look at like the narratives in the market, like when these guys are getting into stable coins versus L1s versus which small cap coins that they're getting into, and the prices they're getting in at, or like that, for the NFT degens, like what NFT collections they're buying and selling on the secondary market, stuff like that.
That's what we want to know.
Cool, so it's like,
Oh, sorry, Jpeg, please go ahead.
so I guess it's like Nansen, but for Solana, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
So Nansen has smart money, so yeah, it's like Nansen's for Solana, except there's I guess a couple of differences. So I mean, basically, what they do and what like competitors on like Solana that are trying to do like smart money things. Well-known wallets that are in the ecosystem, and they'll display usually like the recent trades or whatever. But mostly it's like what they are holding in their portfolio kind of right now, instead of kind of like a so what we do is like we don't just grab like a handful of like influencer wallets. Like we're doing the work of like literally finding the most profitable wallets on the blockchain, and also like showing you like we do, and like parsing a lot of the work that's done, and what differentiates us is actually parsing the entire historical their historical transactions. So it's a big difference than like looking at what's in their wallet and kind of like looking at what's in the wallet and doing kind of analysis just based on that.
Gotcha.
Well, and anyway, so I mean, Nansen actually doesn't even really work on Solana yet, I think. I mean, they have a few features, but for example, for NFT data, I don't think they have anything. I mean, I was looking at it recently to maybe set up some alerts for our Discord and whatnot, and they didn't have much, so I just passed. So this is something that is needed in the space. Yeah. So I'm glad you guys are building this. It's great.
Yeah.
How do you choose, like, okay, you said how you chose the whales, but do you think you could give us, like, because we're in Discord stage and and it's just like in the root code, do you think you could tell us if you have any names of whales?
So we actually, I've actually haven't done any work in labeling any of the wallets, because to me it's not super it's not super interesting. It's kind of like a fun thing to do, and like when I have more time and when I'm not focusing on the core product, I'll probably do some of that. And I've reached out, I've talked to some people who do that as well, so we could integrate it and think about it. But yeah, I actually haven't done the work to figure it out. Although I know a few wallets, but yeah.
I love it. I like that it's just strings for now. So that's cool.
I mean, really, like all I want to know is what the most profitable people are doing, so I can take a look at those moves and see if I want to do them too. Kind of like that's a whole kind of idea. Like this came about when I was doing a bit of trading myself, and just kind of thinking what information was the exact information that I wanted. Like I noticed that there was a lot of, I talked to people who've done some on-chain analysis stuff, and it became pretty obvious that there's a lot of actors that have, a lot of inside information, and all of this data is on chain, or at least the data that is on chain is on chain. A lot of it is on centralized exchanges as well, but a lot of that data, that really interesting first mover data, is on chain, and I wanted to get a hold of it.
Okay, gotcha. I wasn't in the. Were you on Savannah Shark Tank recently?
Yeah.
I heard that you guys did really, really well.
Yeah.
I wasn't there.
People were bullish.
Yeah, JPEG, you were
I'm
there?
minting for sure. I'm gonna mint this, but the judges were quite positive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's good to hear. Yeah.
It was funny because there's 4 projects on, and like they have they have like kind of 4 ratings they give. Either they pass on the project, or there's a watch list, or they mint, or like a shut up and take my money. And like the first 3 projects were just getting hammered. It was awful. And like,
man,
so
they were bad projects, honestly. They were.
Yeah. It was getting hard to listen to. And like, I mean, it's good. So Jungle Cats is one of the projects that was getting a really hard time. They're like an OG project, so it was hard to listen to for me. I was a little sad for them. But I mean,
that was the one.
Really
That was the one. I was also. I'm exactly my thoughts when I was feeling bad for them. But the other 2 projects, one of them was like a Bitcoin mining operation in UK, which
right.
With revenue distribution and stuff. That one didn't make much sense, but yeah.
Well, I mean, like both JPEG and myself are judges on Savannah Shark Tank also, but JPEG is way tougher than I am. So if he says he's bullish, then I'm not doing my own research. I'm just gonna.
I'm kind of an ape myself sometimes as well, but
always do your own research.
Yes.
I mean, like that's one of the things too. I mean, even for like the WiseWhales data, I mean, it's I think it's like some very useful data. It's like very like actionable data. But I would never just kind of like use one data point. Like I wouldn't just ape into a collection just because WiseWhales are in. It's a super good indicator, but I would certainly do some
This
due diligence. Yeah.
Yeah, this will be super helpful, especially for people who just they go on Twitter and they see influencers and whatnot talking about projects, and then they ape. And actually, there's this tool. It's called Sentiment, I think it is, and
Hmm.
um, there's been a lot of backtest checking the correlation between people talking about NFTs and crypto on social media and the price dumping. And there's a very strong correlation between when it starts getting hit up on the socials, the price always down. So it's people should be ignoring. I mean, one of the when people ask me when new people ask me about what to buy, what not, I say never buy what you see people talking about on Twitter because the price is going to drop afterwards. I mean, and I have seen happening with primates, with a bunch of it's always like that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's actually like super good advice. It's obvious kind of what's happening. I mean, there's a bunch of influencers who have a lot of like a lot of influence in the space, and they get into these projects, and they're all talking about the projects and stuff, and they know what's causing the price to pump. It's them talking about it, right? So,
And
so
this
once it
happens
gets to
with
a certain point, they all decide, they're all just dumping.
yeah, I mean this happens with NFTs and it happens with coins. Huh? I mean when you see both charts, there's always the spike in social media and then dumps, and it's
Yeah.
one of those metrics that actually all have been backtested, and it's just like that. Yeah, it's
Right. So in theory, I mean, if the influencers are in fact, wise whales, we can see like when they get dumped. That's the thing, right? You look at the NFT collections and you can see how many, we're tracking, how many are bought, listed, and sold, amongst other, metrics, in the last 24 hours in 1 week. And really, I don't really look at collections unless they have more buys than sales for sure. But even better is more buys than listings. And these are like really, I think these are really informative data points for NFT collections.
got it. Got it. Do you guys track mints? Because I have. I mean back then last year around March, May last year, I was using Nansen a lot, and I was using IC tools as well. And to be honest, I made a lot of money by finding just random buys and random mints that some of these, like Jebos and Mef Collector and whatnot, they were doing on ETH, on Ethereum. There's a lot of money to be made. Do you guys track when there's like a hot mint that some of the smart money are doing, or it's just for collection? That's way.
Yeah, it's just for secondary sales. I mean, we're thinking about whether or not to add it. I mean, it won't be there for launch, but it's something that we're thinking about. If we think it's like something we want to add, we can definitely add a whole bunch of information along those lines. But I mean, there's like a lot of I feel like there's a lot of people trying to build projects about NFT mints. So I mean, if there's a need for it, it's something that we can build. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, right? It's kind of a different thing to try to get the instant information of like, I mean, finding when like new projects that are minting is one thing, but I think that's somewhat solved. Although there's all these degen mints, but another thing is like seeing how the projects are doing during the mint, and if it makes sense to mint, right? And I mean, there's a lot of times where, especially in these, in these days in the bear market, where, it's kind of unclear if it's a good mint. It's like halfway minted, and you're like, do I mint? Do I not? And I think it would be kind of useful to see in real time if some very profitable wallets are minting. So to ape in as well. So I definitely see how we could kind of have like a special angle on that. So yeah, I mean, it's something that's on my radar.
Cool, awesome.
Yeah, I would. So we have some very specific questions coming up, but before we go into those, I just wanted to see if you could give us an overview of the team, and how you guys got together.
Yeah, so basically about I don't know, 8 months ago, I started just I hired a couple developers, a couple developers to kind of help me do some data exploratory work on the blockchain. I didn't know what we were going to build exactly. I knew that I wanted to know more about on-chain data, and I wanted to focus on wallets and graphing them out and stuff like that. So I'm a mathematician myself. I'm not a developer. I do some data analysis and stuff like that, some data science, but yeah, I'm not a developer. So I hired a couple developers to help me do that. And we just worked, the three of us, and we took on another developer who kind of was there for a few months and left. And then other than that, I just got my amazing Discord team. Some of them are in here now. That I partnered with along the way, and we kind of outsourced the rest of it. So like the front end development was actually outsourced by a great team. I don't know if you've taken a look at the demo. Anyone here, you guys should all take a look at the demo, which is on the pinned tweet for WiseWhales. You can take a look at our slick front end, and
Nice.
so we outsourced the front end and the art and everything else. The like the landing page that you can access now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, all good.
We'll have a look at the demo later.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, nice.
Let's get into some specific questions. So your team is like doxed, everybody.
So I'm fully doxed. The rest of my team, they're doxed. They're like low key doxed.
So there's one person who isn't doxed, right? Alex.
Yeah, he's actually not even on the team anymore, so I should take him off the website. Yeah, he's the guy that we lost along the way.
Oh,
So it's
okay,
really
okay.
yeah. But the other two, yeah. So exactly. So we're doxed, yeah, for sure.
Right.
And I'm in a bunch of hacker houses and stuff. I know like hundreds of these people in the ecosystem. So yeah, I'm fully doxed. Also, my Twitter name is like my Twitter handle is like my full name, first and last name.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go down the list. The first question is, how easy is it to copy the WiseWhales algorithms?
Yeah, good question.
Yes. Yeah.
It's actually quite difficult until we get some more infrastructure stuff on the space. So there's no one that's really doing the job of parsing historical transactions right now. And so what I mean by that, let me just kind of go into like a little bit of detail about that.
Yeah,
So
please
like
do.
if you go on like Sonar or Step, these sites where they show your portfolio and stuff. Basically what they're doing is they're looking at what's in your wallet, and what like programs they're in. It's like they're looking right now. You have you might have some Mango perpetual positions. They can show you all the NFTs you have and stuff, but it's a totally different thing to scrape all the transaction data. That's easy to get. You get it from node data providers. We work with like 4 node data providers. We work with Syndica, QuickNode, Genesis Go, and DataHub. So getting the transactions is not too difficult, but actually parsing the transactions, like understanding what each transaction actually does in an algorithmic way, because you need to look through millions of these, right? So you need an algorithmic way for every single protocol to turn it into like readable table data. And every protocol is different, and there's different versions, and they're updated. So like a bunch of people have done this work for like for NFT marketplace data. So that's somewhat done. But with DeFi, certainly no one has done a really good job at that. I know some teams are like kind of going in that direction. But for that reason, it's kind of it is difficult to replicate what we're doing. And that's why you don't really see any projects that like analyze, entire historical transactions of wallets like that.
Yeah, and with the working time that you have on this current product, it will be difficult to catch up then.
Yeah, I mean, so there are teams. So it kind of depends. Like when there's a couple teams that are kind of working towards doing this, parsing this data and having like APIs that have kind of access to some of that data. But then you have to kind of still build out the entire product. So once that gets done, once people get some companies that are actually giving parsed data like that, it would be definitely easier, but I'm not sure how far along these projects are.
Okay, yeah, understand. Thank you. That was very in depth.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question. Okay, so I know that you said earlier that the WiseWhales aren't really like meant to be used for like direct copy trading, but as we know, degens in the space, that is almost inevitable.
Yeah,
And we've seen definitely a history of projects or tools who have had to add features, not because they wanted to, but because of pressure from, I guess, the community. I guess the most prominent one being the recent debacle with Yaw and the zero royalty marketplace. So the next question is, do you have any plans to integrate WiseWhales tool with an automatic trader such as, say, Parrot tools?
Yeah, so it's something we're thinking about. I don't know. I'm very I'm not sure about Parrot Tools' whole business model. I mean, for a number of reasons, but copy trading is it's a little dangerous because you get one whale who knows they're a wise whale and they can basically create some shitcoin and pump it up and people will copy it and dump it. And with NFT collections, it's even easier, right? Allowing kind of copy trading for like any NFT collection is definitely a bad. But I have thought about doing some copy trading where it's just like I don't know, blue chip NFTs and a set list of DeFi things, whether it's like swaps that they've made or even like LP positions or whatever, kind of copying what they've done. That's something that I'm thinking about, but it definitely couldn't be just like anything at any time. I think that's super dangerous.
Absolutely agreed. Yeah. Okay, well, with that said, I like this question so much. Are there any dumb whales? Like, do wise whales ever become dumb whales? Or do dumb whales ever become wise whales? Like, do you track potential wise whales?
Yeah, I don't really know. I haven't really looked too much into kind of which whales are becoming wise and not wise. So what we do is basically we kind of refresh the list every week. So every single we get we go through all of the decentralized exchange volume, like all of it, and we see if there's any new whales. And we do the same thing with NFTs. We go through all the volume, see if there's any new whales, and then we do a complete analysis on any new whales, right? I haven't really done the work of trying to see like how many are, and then we keep the top percent of profitable whales. And I haven't really done the work of seeing like who stays on kind of over time. But it's a good question. But I can say that something that's interesting is about like buyer analysis and like the way we're evaluating these wallets is like changing slightly over time. So take this with a grain of salt, but somewhere around like 90% of whales are not profitable over the last 6 months.
Yeah.
And so like that's why it really matters to I mean even just using like something like smart money, it's like you really want to know if these are wise whales. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
because most of these, I feel like, most of the wallets that people, check out are, they're not doing well.
Right.
It's just,
Well
just
then, well then,
Yeah, I
is
mean,
there a way?
people who
Oh,
are
sorry.
tracking 3IC in the smart money at Nansen got wrecked. So
oh shit! I mean, yeah, right.
Yeah. Well then, is
That
there a
was,
way to
yeah.
see like how long the whale has been like watched by WiseWhales or like tracked by
Yeah.
WiseWhales?
Good question. I'm gonna I'm gonna make a note to kind of like take a look at that. I think it's a interesting thing to look at for sure. I haven't we haven't done it. There's nowhere you can see kind of how like the persistence of the wise whales in the wise whales category. But I think it's something to circle back to. So I'm gonna make a little note of it right now.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. The next question is, who are like, and in specific detail, like who are your most ideal consumers? And then how will those consumers kind of benefit from investing in WiseWhales apart from your main, value prop? Is there any other extra things they might like?
So the main consumers are definitely people who, I mean, anyone who's doing any kind of investing in DeFi or NFTs, especially in DeFi. If you're a DeFi person, like our value prop on the NFT side is awesome. I think it's great, but there are a lot of NFT tools out there. Like we're doing something unique, even with the NFTs. But for DeFi, I feel like there's not much at all out there for a kind of good DeFi utility. And so I'm pretty happy to, and like I also am just interested in DeFi a lot myself. So I'm excited about getting a community of people who are doing kind of DeFi things and talking about that kind of stuff. So I mean, but yeah, I mean, anyone investing in DeFi or NFTs, like, which is like a pretty broad audience, but like, anyone who's putting in a good amount of money that would be willing to spend the mint price to have, some very good data that can guide them. Wait, there was a second part to that question, right? What was the second part?
It was about like any other extra benefits of holders who invested in WiseWhales.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so there's, one thing is we're planning on building kind of a sister site, which will like basically I want to use a lot of the money to build a sister site, which will be probably subscription based, but there'll be like definitely some early access, some like discounted access to that for WiseWhales holders. So it'll be more kind of like on-chain analysis focused, kind of like a deeper dive into analytics on the Solana blockchain. So there definitely be some like partnership there, and I'm thinking about other things, but really we're focused on the core product because it's a lot of work to even like keep the core value prop up to date and stuff. There's all the protocols we have to keep up to date, and there's a lot of Amazon costs and stuff. So really I'm thinking mostly about like how do I make this like the WiseWhales, like the core product, as good as it can be, and put like a bunch of work into that. That's mainly what's on my mind. But I'm starting to hear some like good ideas from people. So I'm open to like what the community kind of wants. Definitely I'll be listening in and taking everything in.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Oh, by the way, when is the mint?
Oh, we don't have a mint date yet, but it's pretty soon. I mean, I had a meeting with Magic Eden, and so I think probably I would say it's looking like within a month, but like later, like probably in a few weeks.
Got it.
Cool.
And
No set date yet.
Okay. And supply and price?
Supply is 4,000, and the price is kind of to be determined. Depending on SOL price and stuff. Yeah.
Got it.
So can you give us like an outline of your roadmap and the phases?
Yeah, I mean the roadmap. I mean, really, it's pretty like it's pretty short. We really want to kind of get more protocols under our belt and kind of just do as good of a job as we can on this core product, and also just do like there's a bunch of like interesting visualizations and different ways to display the data that I want to kind of explore, and if so just like adding different data tools like to the site and different ways to explore the data, that kind of stuff. That's most of the roadmap. And other than that, kind of working on the sister site and kind of listening to the community and kind of like anything that they're thinking about. I mean, one thing is maybe like tapping into other discords and having them be able to access the data to some degree. And I'm thinking about maybe doing like some revenue sharing stuff, but legal wise, it might be tricky. But yeah,
that was the next kind of in the realm of kind of the next question as well. Is will you have an open API that will allow other projects to kind of integrate or have a live feed of your WiseWhales data in their tools, their servers, or their metaverses?
Yeah, definitely. Like on the roadmap, I'm definitely gonna explore that. I think it's interesting. Like, I don't know if it would be access to kind of all of the data. Otherwise, it would be like I don't know if people would buy the actual who would need the actual WiseWhales, right? If you could just like get all the information in any Discord, but like some subset of the data, which is like very actionable. Maybe just the NFT stuff, or I'm not sure exactly, but something that like fits into a Discord that could like in a channel that could give like good announcements about what the WiseWhale events essentially, something like that. Definitely thinking about it, and I am thinking about APIs, just like general APIs as well. But I'm hesitant because I feel like it might detract from the value of the holders, right? If the holders are the only ones who can get the full information, I think that's kind of good value for the holders. So it's something I'm gonna think about carefully.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I mean, I was thinking about something like sending notifications to like a Telegram. I mean, it could send, whenever Whale makes a trade, you get a notification on Telegram, but then you get exposed to someone making an account, a group chat on Telegram with 200 people, and everybody gets the notification.
Exactly. Right? So I'm definitely, I've been in talks with Notify as well. I'm a big fan of Notify, the Notify team. And so I don't know if you guys know, but they do notifications on chain, So think about kind of doing some, so it's the same stuff, like Discord integration, API, and kind of using Notify for on-chain notifications. If we do something like that, it would be some subset of the data, and certainly not everything.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome. I think we've got like only a few minutes left. Is there anything else that you might want to add, or is there anybody in the audience who wants to ask questions in the chat?
Well, actually, one second. I just thought that maybe a way of dealing with this could be having different tiers. So, for example, if I'm running the server and I want the holders to get access to a bunch of notifications, maybe I should own like 4 WiseWhales instead of only one. That's an idea.
Yeah. It would definitely be something like that for sure. For anything like Discord integration, for sure it would be like multiple whales. But even still, I wouldn't want to give the entire like all the data.
Yeah, fair enough.
Gotcha.
I don't know if there's anything else that I want to say, but I do want to give any whitelist to anyone in here. If you want to pop into our Discord, and take a screenshot of the space maybe and post it in the. I think we probably have a channel. Let me take a look. Yeah, Rooniverse AMA. So if you want to pop in and say hi from the AMA, I'd be happy to give anyone whitelist to our. There's not many people in here, but anyone who's interested.
Okay. Also, yes, I'm definitely doing that. But also, we have a mysterious root pack to give out to a random attendee of the WiseWhales AMA. So I'm gonna be doing a randomization now.
What is the root pack?
It's like
I'm
it's
curious.
a mystery box that
Oh,
is from
sweet.
the Rooniverse game, and you can
Uh-huh.
open it later and it will have some
Awesome.
things. Yeah. So the mysterious root pack only comes from community events, just mini events, mini games, or like guest AMAs, anything that we make. So that's the only way you can acquire it. All the other types of root packs can be acquired through root camp, staking platform, or anything else. But yeah, the mysterious ones are quite rare because you actually have to contribute in the community to get them.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, I'm generating now. Okay. 10th listener. Okay, Nephus. Nephus, you want a mysterious root pack. So please send us a DM with your wallet address and we will send you a mysterious root pack. Congratulations.
Sweet, congrats.
That was so much knowledge for me, my little small root brain. But it was very, very, very clear. Everything that you described was very easy, like easy enough to understand. The only part maybe that I was like, oh no, was when you were going really in depth into the WiseWhales algorithm. But I'm sure that was very useful for the rest of the listeners.
It wasn't too much time, though. It wasn't too much time.
Anyway, yeah, I wanted to thank you so much for making the time to come over into Rooniverse and doing a guest AMA. We don't do many of these. I think we've only ever done like one before. So yeah, thank you so much for coming and being like our second guest AMA.
No worries, it was fun. Happy to do it. And if anyone in here, including you guys, like you want to reach out and ask any questions.